Copy that. Captain Havoc 2 is ready.
Roger. Bye for 5 minutes.
Bollinger radio check 121.2 over.
Everyone, school circle on me.
Circle up on the captain.
School circle.
Littleberry, this is Carter. Radio check on frequency 124.5 over.
Alright, starting tonight we're going to do something a little bit differently for fill-ins so you guys don't have to sit through the same classroom shit for 3 FTXs in a row. If you're a fill-in, once you connect, once you're set up with your squad and you got all your gear and your squad net and everything loaded up, you are cleared to just go fucking stand to the side somewhere and tab out of game until we're done with the classroom portion of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
For some reason you're transmitting on 3-1.
I did that shit yesterday. So fill-ins, for those of you who are filling in, first of all, thank you, but you don't have to go through the same, 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour's worth of classroom stuff, unless you want to, in which case you can, it's fine. So, for those of you who are not filling in, we're going back over there to the west, so follow me.
Bravo, this is here. None.
Fill-ins if you want to stay here, you can. If not, then form up on the captain. Copy that.
I'm gonna join in because even though I'm a fill-in, I'm still part of Task Force Bravo.
Areas be advised, there's a guy over here between the transport truck and the gas.
You can hear me, Zarn. Roger.
Aries, this is Havoc 6 on 3-1 over.
Havoc 6 is Aries on 3-1, send traffic over.
This is 6, copy my last message over.
6, this is Aries, that's a negative over.
Be advised, there's a guy stuck between the transport truck and the gas over here, needs to be moved.
6, this is Aries, we'll go. Over.
You guys all see that dude, right? I'm not hallucinating?
Negative.
No.
Negative.
Thank you, Hoodie.
Negative, sir.
Alright, whatever. Alright. The purpose of FTX Cycle 0218, we are going over proper identification and engagement of enemy targets. The specific focus is on vehicles.
6, this is Aries on 3-1.
6, send it.
6, Aries, interrogative. Is that guy still there? Because I'm not seeing him. Over.
Yeah, just take the truck out and put it back down. And if that doesn't work, just don't worry about it. I'll take less meds next time. The specific...
6, Aries, solid copy. Confirm that was the Ural transport. I do not have eyes on this person.
Yeah, affirmative. It looks like he's trying to get in the truck, so just delete the truck and put it back down. No, it's a bug on my end. Don't worry about it.
Solid copy, we'll replace.
Alright. Specific focus on what weapon systems you should be using to engage what enemy targets. One of the biggest problems we have engaging enemy vehicles and armor is that we often engage them with the wrong thing. This becomes a problem once we get to things like the enemy MRAPs or the armored Russian Gaz over here, and specifically the BTRs. Rifle squads, anything at the level of BTR or below, you should be engaging with your AT-4s and your laws. You should not be calling for a weapon squad to come over and waste their ammunition that the weapon squad needs to be saving for the heavier armored targets. Weapon squad, when someone calls you to engage a piece of armor and you hear it's a BTR, your first question to them should be, are you out of AT? If they are out of AT, that's the point at which you say, okay, roger, we're on the way. So we are going to go over almost all of the different enemy vehicles and armor pieces and even aircraft that we are likely to fight against or that we have fought against in the past. We're going to start with the lightest armored vehicles. We're going to go over what to engage each level of vehicle with. And then we're going to go do a live fire exercise where we're going to get attacked by every vehicle, and you guys are going to have to correctly identify it. So we're going to start. Well, what we're really going to start with is over here. We're going to start with the off-road truck and the little Datsun or whatever the fuck it is next to it. Who can tell me what those are? Just say it. Don't stand up. Just shout it out. Put yourself on normal or yelling if you're going to answer.
Technicals.
Roger. Those are technicals. What are the trucks? The other trucks. The Land Rover here and the UAZs.
Gun truck.
Gun trucks. Correct. I feel like you guys were at the FTX last night and you're cheating.
What's the term, Captain?
We often refer to all of those trucks as technicals. For us, basically, when we say technical, we mean it's a truck with a gun mounted on the top of it. Whether it's a machine gun or an AGS or an SPG, we often just say technical. That's incorrect. The correct term would be gun truck. Technical is technically a gun truck, but not all gun trucks are technical. But for our purposes, it doesn't really matter as long as we understand the level of threat that we're facing. What you need to be doing when you call out a technical is you need to be saying what the weapon system on the technical or the gun truck is. You need to say, hey, I got eyes on a technical with a heavy machine gun or an SPG or most importantly an AGS. There are 3 weapon systems that we're going to go over today that are what I refer to as infantry killers. That's the 40mm or the 30 or 40mm grenade launchers that the enemies use, 30mm autocannons, and the 23mm autocannons. Those are the biggest threats to us as infantry. Those are mounted on everything from this piece of shit right here, that AGS-30 on the UAZ, the BTR over there with the autocannon, the BMP over there with the autocannon, and then these two fucking AA pieces, which are more commonly used to shred infantry than actual air. So whenever you see those, you need to understand that they are the priority target for pretty much the entire task force whenever they pop up, and that needs to get sent up your chain of command as soon as possible, and you need to know what to engage it with. So, for example, this thing right here, it's a Ural with a Zoo cannon on the back. We refer to them as Zeus cannons. And you can't just say, I've got a Zeus or I've got a Zeus cannon, because we use the terms so interchangeably that a Zeus cannon could either be a truck with a ZU-23 in the back, or it could be a Shilka or Tunguska over there, because it's all the same cannon. But if someone has an M4 or 40mm grenade launcher, and they think you're talking about a Ural with a Zoo in the back, and it's actually a Shilka, they're going to round that corner and then get splattered by 4 23mm cannons. So make sure when you identify those targets, you're identifying them all the way, saying, we got a Ural with a Zeus on the back. Or we've got a Ural transport truck. So the Ural transport trucks, they're just transports. If enemy is stupid enough to drive a transport truck full of guys into our AO, where we can see them before they dismount, light them the fuck up. Don't wait for them to dismount. If you can, that's a prime target for an M72, is a truck full of like 15 guys. And you can fucking brag about how you killed 15 guys with one round, because you blew the whole damn truck up. Everything in this line, up to the enemy MRAP or Ifrit or Punisher, depending on what you want to call it, can be engaged with small arms fire. The only exception really being the Gaz to penetrate the armored window. It is armored, but on the versions that have a turret, you can shoot the gunner out of the turret. The problem is, you shoot the gunner out of the turret, you leave the truck running, someone else can just go and get on the turret. So you need to try, when you disable these vehicles, to disable them to the point that they are no longer able to fire if you think that you're in a situation where the enemy is going to try and remount them. So you can do that by best bet, team leaders. We don't get to use our demo a lot, so you guys always have a lot of leftover demo. If you can get close enough to it, call up, say, hey, I'm setting demo on this vehicle, and then once you move away from it, pop it so no one can get back on. Are there any questions so far?
Negative.
Negative.
Alright.
Negative.
So, like I said, everything in this line can be engaged with small arms fire. The Gaz and the Ifrit, or Punisher, or MRAP, you can call it any of the above, can be engaged with 40mm. I have success engaging it with the HE, but most people recommend engaging with HEDP. You can pop the tires fairly reliably. Sometimes you can cause it to go catastrophic. Not reliably, though. But you can engage all these targets with small arms and 40mm. Let's move on.
Chains off comms.
Well, at least we know who tabbed out and decided to not come back. We're going over static weapons now. And here's the fucking Zoo cannon again. This time you just call it out as a static AA cannon with guys on it. You can shoot the gunners off, but like I said, they can remount it. So when you are given the opportunity, you want to move to them and set them up for demo. Next we have the SPG, which is oftentimes mounted on the back of a technical. In fact, I think that's the only time we see it mounted is on a technical. I don't think we fight any enemy vehicles other than a technical that has an SPG. They all have nastier weapon systems. What is this? What is this machine gun right here?
Dishcom.
Is it a quarter or a dishcom?
There's a cord.
I think it's a cord, but I'm not positive. But it's an enemy HMG, static. You can call it out as that. You can try to differentiate between the dishcom and the cord. If they were right next to each other, I'd be able to tell you which one it was. I'm pretty sure that's a cord. Next, another one of the infantry killers. That's AGS-30. Do not misidentify that as a Mark 19. Try not to, because most of the time, enemies on a Mark 19 mean that it's the first thing that goes through command's mind is, did we get one of our vehicles stolen? Because why are they shooting at us with a Mark 19? Call it a GMG, an automatic grenade launcher, an AGS-30, whatever you want to call it, but it's an automatic grenade launcher, and it's one of those things that when you see it, you need to take it out ASAP, because it can fuck us up. Next is a static AA launcher. Shoot the guys out of them. Set them up for demo. Lastly is armor killer. However, we don't have to worry about that because we don't use armor. That's a mounted metis. It is, I think it's wire guided, just like a tow, and it's got IR on it. So if you ever need to take out some enemy armor and you see one of those, jump on it. Let's move on. Alright, who can tell me which one of these vehicles behind me is the biggest threat?
The one on the far right, I believe.
Far right,
Yep.
ADA.
Correct. One on the far right, who can tell me what that vehicle is?
The BTR-80A.
Correct, BTR-80 Alpha. It's got the autocannon that I was talking about. It's a 30mm autocannon. It is the same autocannon that is on the BMP-2. That's the closest BMP to us that's over there. That's one of the infantry killers. Whenever you see one of those things, more often than not, you're going to hear it. It has a very distinctive sound when it is firing. You're going to be able to say, if you've ever heard me when I've been yelling on company comms, get rid of that fucking autocannon, that's what I'm talking about. It's either a BTR or BMP that's shooting at us because they shoot HE rounds, which are super nasty against infantry. All of these vehicles behind us, for purposes of what we do, are BTRs. This thing is, I don't remember what the hell it's called, but we are gonna identify it on the battlefield as a BTR if we ever see it.
APC, sir?
No, you need to be more specific, because an APC could be either a BMP or a BTR, and those are two different threat levels. Who can tell me what we can take, what munitions we can use? What's the smallest thing we can use to take out a BTR?
M240 Bravo.
An AT4, Captain.
7.62.
40mm.
M72 Law.
Alright, all of those were correct. The answer I was looking for was the 40mm. The 240 gunners have AP ammo. It can pierce the hull and kill the guys that are on the inside, but a lot of times it's hard to tell. So you can pop the tires, same as you can on the Ifrit and the Gaz with your 40mm. DP is recommended, but like I said, I've had success using HE rounds. But in order to get a catastrophic kill, you're going to need an M72 or an AT4. That's the main thing that these targets, all these BMPs or BTRs should be engaged with, is an M72. Try to kill it with M72 with a rear shot first if you can, because you want to preserve those AT4s. But if you shoot it and it doesn't start cooking off pretty much immediately, switch to AT4 and pop it again. Any questions?
Negative.
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 Negative, Captain.
Negative.
Alright. Which one of these is our biggest threat?
The one on the right.
In this case, it's the one on the right and the one on the left. Probably the one on the left is the bigger threat, but I don't think we're ever gonna be fighting enemies that use both of them at the same time. This one has that same 30mm autocannon, and I don't know what that one has, but it's definitely another nasty autocannon. I don't know what size it is. So these are the BMPs. BMP 1, BMP 2, BMP 3. Like I said, when you hear that autocannon firing or when you see the BMP-1, you need to call that shit up and you need to try to take it out ASAP. Who can tell me what the smallest thing you can take one of these out with is?
AT4, sir.
A10.
sir.
I said the smallest thing.
M72 law, sir.
You can potentially track it with an M72. If you get really lucky, you might penetrate the armor. Probably not. You should be primarily engaging these first with the AT4, but this is the first threat where you, as you're trying to engage with your M72 and AT4, you need to make sure you're on comms with weapons, getting them to your position so they can take it out with the Maws or the Javelin. And you need to send it up the chain so that I can be taking it out with the A10 or the Apache. Any questions about these vehicles?
Yes, sir.
Negative.
Alright, let's move on.
Yes, sir.
You say yes, sir? You have a question?
Yes, sir.
Send it.
Yes, sir. Question. Maybe break immersion a little bit, but from what I know, in real life, BMP 1s and 2s have their rear doors are fuel tanks. Is that so in ArmA?
Their rear doors are, I don't know.
That's why they bulge, sir.
Captain.
Yep.
It is true. It's on the rear side, like on the top rear side. You get what I'm saying? That's where you can hit it at. If you want to get a catastrophic, you can hit it with the law.
Let's go look. Show us what you're talking about.
I don't want to go look.
These rear doors, they're fuel tanks, sir. In Afghanistan, the Soviets had a lot of trouble.
Sergeant Smith, what were you saying?
From somewhere from this kind of angle. If you want to hit it from either, if you're trying to get an elevated position, you get it from the top, right there in the back, your rear. If you're gonna hit it, if you're from the side, you want to hit it somewhere around here.
Yelling, Sergeant Smith.
Sorry. If you are in an elevated position, you want to hit it from the top, which is somewhere around there, towards your rear. If you're looking at it from the side, you want to hit it somewhere around here, and that's for the other side as well. And then that's with your AT4, and now with the law, it's a little tricky. Sometimes you might want to hit it from either different. If you have an elevated position, hit it from the direct top, and the least disabled turret.
But the rear doors, doubling as fuel tanks, don't make any difference, as far as you know.
Well, you can, because if you want to, if you put a rocket right through there, it should at least get the guys inside of it and probably disable the vehicle as well.
Alright. Shooting an M72 at these vehicles, try for a mobility kill. Don't try for a catastrophic kill. Try to hit the tracks. Any more questions?
Negative, sir. Negative, sir.
Yes, sir.
Send it.
That far one on the right side, we just call that another BMP as well, I assume?
It is a BMP. Enemy BMP, CSAT BMP. Alright, let's move on. Alright, who can tell me what the smallest munition we can use to engage these targets behind me is?
Maz rockets, sir.
AT4.
AT4 if you
AT4,
get it in
take
the ass
that.
or the top or the side.
It's a trick question. These two tanks on the end, one of them is from World War II and one of them is from Vietnam era. I'm pretty sure the World War II tank, if you ever see a T-34, you can possibly kill it with an M72. Everything else, AT-4 at minimum. Try to get a rear shot. Their armor pretty much progressively gets higher and higher the higher you go. Who can name, anyone think they can name all of these tanks behind me in one go? Stand up. You've already been to too many of these things, Specialist Simon.
Starting from the what, you got a T-34, you got a T-55, you got a T-70, and then a T... Oh jeez.
80.
Yeah, T-80, and then T-90, and then a Varsuk.
T100.
It's a T100.
Oh, really?
Yep, it's a real-life
My
prototype of the T100. I don't think, actually, did it ever get put into usage? I don't know.
Chinese ended the production.
Okay, it doesn't really
T14.
doesn't really matter. The BTR over there, the BMP over there, and the T100 are all fictional vehicles, but and actually the MRAP back there is not a fictional vehicle. It's used in real life, but it's called a Punisher, not an Ifrit. But you call it an Ifrit, we're gonna know what you're talking about. Call it an ME MRAP. That's what I call them. Rear shots with the AT4s are the minimum thing that you're going to take everything out with, T72 and up. The T55, you can probably hit it with the AT4 from anywhere, but always try for a rear shot if you're engaging armor. Who can tell me the easiest way to differentiate the T72 and T80 from the T90? Sergeant Alexander.
The V-shape, sir. The V-shape hole.
Nope. Private Zaire.
On both sides of the cannon are active jamming devices.
Yep. Come over here so you guys can look at this thing from the front, or try to get eyes on the turret from the front. You see those eyeballs on either side of the turret? That means it's a T90. That means it's bad business. That's one of the heaviest armor pieces that we fight aside from the T100. You need to make sure that you're able to differentiate the T90 from the T80 and the T72. And it's those two, whatever the fuck they are, on either side of the turret that's going to differentiate them for you the easiest. Because you're going to be looking at it going, I don't know if that's a T72, a T80, or a T90. If you can see it from the front of the turret, that's the number one easiest way to tell. Alright, let's move on. Alright, outside of the BTR autocannon and the BMP autocannon, these things are the biggest threat to the infantry that we face. They are more heavily armored than the BTR, but not by much. This one on your right is a Tunguska. Tunguska only has 2 cannons instead of 4, which one on the left, which is a Shilka, has. If you can't differentiate them, just call it tracked armored anti-air or armored anti-air. You should remember the names of all the vehicles we fight, but if you can't, you need to be calling out at least as good of a description as you can. You need to say, I've got a tracked vehicle over here. I hear a tracked vehicle. A lot of times you hear a vehicle and you can immediately tell it's a tracked vehicle. You can hear the tracks squeaking. That's your first indicator that you're fighting against a piece of armor that's tracked. You call that up. Then when you get eyes on it, you say, if you don't remember what the hell a BMP is, you say we're dealing with a medium piece of tracked armor. That gives everyone the best indication of what we need to be doing to prepare to fight it. So these pieces behind me, they're medium tracked anti-air. And they're, like I said, if you get caught in a burst of fire from either of these cannons, it's probably the last thing you're going to do ever. So the Tunguska is on the right. It's easily identifiable, not only by the spinning radar dish, but for me, it's most easily identifiable from the 8 fucking missile pods, the ground-to-air missiles that it shoots. That is our air asset's biggest threat. When you see one of those, it's not only extremely dangerous to the infantry because of its 2 cannons, but it's also extremely dangerous to our air because of its 8 missiles. So that needs to be priority number 1 most of the time, because our air assets are what we use to take out most of the other enemy armored assets that we're fighting against. So we need to get either a Hellfire or an A-10 or a Javelin or Maz round on that thing as soon as possible. If you can hit it with an AT-4, do so. But Tunguska is the biggest threat all around for what we do. And the other one is the Shilka. It doesn't have the missiles, so it's less of a threat to our air, but it's got 2 extra guns, so it's more of a threat to us. So whenever you see these things, you need to get cover and start sending up your chain of command and doing whatever you can to take them out. Like I said, M72 to the tracks, AT4s to the ass. Can you take these out, anti-armor guys, with AT4s?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Does it have to be to the rear?
Negative.
Negative, Captain. I've actually seen a lot take out Shulka with a top hit.
Alright. If you're unsure, I'm never going to get mad at you for shooting a law at a piece of armor. You know, it's there, but it's there as basically a last resort. Unless you're shooting it at a BTR. BTR, law should be reserved for the BTRs and the MRAPs. Or mobility kills on anything else. Any questions at this point?
Negative, Captain.
Negative, Captain.
Negative.
All right.
Negative.
Last group. Alright, what is this thing right here?
MIA hip.
MIA.
Alright, what is this thing right here?
MIA
Fucking
hip for
hip.
the armed
Hip
version.
as
Hip
well.
gunship.
Armed.
Correct. What's the difference?
Armed and unarmed.
Right. One is a hip and one is a hip gunship. That's the big word that you need to make sure you're using when you're calling up either a gunship or an attack helicopter. This is not an attack helicopter. It does have gunner spots with machine guns, but that's just like our Blackhawks are not attack helicopters. We have miniguns on them, but they are not to be used for CAS. This isn't fucking Vietnam. We're not flying in with Hueys with M60s on them. As our CAS, we've got more sophisticated stuff than that. This hip, I think it has something like 128 fucking rockets. It's terrifying. If you see one, get cover. Don't shoot at it with your fucking rifles. You might be able to hit it with a 40mm. I don't necessarily recommend it, but if you see me shooting at one with a 40mm, I'm not going to apologize for it. And I'm probably not going to yell at you for doing it. Someone else might yell at you for doing it, but I'm not going to back them up if they do. 50 cals, if they're hovering in place, you might be able to get an M72 or an AT4 into one of them. Don't waste your AA. Do not waste your AA. You can waste a few 40s trying to shoot at one. Make sure when you're shooting at one, you're not shooting at one when you have friendlies on the other side of it with a 40mm. Because that 40mm will go up and it's going to go back down. And you're going to shoot your buddies. A mobility kill on a helicopter is a kill on a helicopter. So you can shoot at the tail rotors. You can try to shoot 240s at the tail rotors. Maybe with a saw. Probably you shouldn't be shooting your M4 at a fucking helicopter as it's flying by. You're going to get yelled at by the first sergeant if you do that. And I'm going to laugh. Actually, I laugh every time he yells at someone. I don't even care what he's yelling at him for. Alright, let's move on.
Sounds crunchy.
Private Masters, are you buying me dinner?
No, Captain.
Can you back up off me then? Thank you. Alright. What is this helicopter on your left?
KA-52. Or
Black
KA-52, Black Shark.
KA-52.
Alligator.
Alligator.
I don't know what the fucking alligator is. I only know this thing as a KA-52. What can you not do to this helicopter?
Fucking shoot it.
Mobility.
Can't shoot its tail rotor out. Why can't you shoot its tail rotor out?
It
Have
has
one.
two
Have a tail rotor.
It doesn't
rotors
have a
to
tail rotor.
stabilize it.
It's a dual rotor helicopter. So you should not be shooting you shouldn't be shooting small arms at this thing at all. This thing moves fast as shit too. The odds of you getting a 40mm or an AT shot at it are very slim. So reserve Mark 19 50 cals. You can shoot at it if it's flying low and past us. Small arms you should not be shooting at it. What you should be doing is calling up for air support. That's what our air support is for. They have sidewinders. They shoot helicopters out of the sky. What is this thing?
Hind.
Hind, 24 hind.
Fucking magic hind. It's hovering fucking 3 feet off the ground. It's a flying fucking tank is what it is. It's one of the most heavily armored helicopters in the world. You can shoot at it with AT, but it might not give a fuck, and you'll probably just piss it off. So when you see a hind, you get cover and you call for air support. Like I said, with all the other ones, you can try to shoot the pilot out of the cockpit with 50s and 40mm. 40mm Mark 19. Don't shoot at this thing with your fucking grenade launcher. Of course I say that, and I'm gonna fucking shoot at it with my grenade launcher. But do not shoot at it with your M4s or your 249s. You're not gonna do anything to it. Same goes for every piece of armor from the BTR and up. Do not shoot at those things with 5.56 unless you are a saw gunner and you're going for a tire kill on the BTRs. I do not want to see you guys shooting at BMPs, at tanks, or at the mobile AA with your fucking 5.56 rifles or your 7.62 rifles. I know you got AP ammo on it, and you think, okay, maybe if I put enough rounds in it, it'll penetrate. Probably not. You need to be saving those rounds for threats that you can actually take out. Don't waste rounds shooting an armored vehicle with your dinky little fucking rifle. You may as well be throwing rocks at it. Shoot it with your AT-4, your M72, and above. First Sergeant, are you here? Alright. Havoc 2, do you have anything to add?
Negative, Captain.
Alright. Get your guys pushed over to the Chinooks and stand by for briefing.
Alright, squad leaders, all get all your fill-ins over here. I'll get ahead to the Chinooks.
Alright, boys, regroup
Our
at the
fill-ins
hangars.
Are you here, Foster?
Oh, you guys coming up.
Yeah, Bravo's all your.
Mark, you're with us, right?
Hey, Fur.
Oh yeah.
Bravo, this is
we're heading to the.
question radio check.
Copy.
Region 124, bro. Bravo, is your system on 40?
Give me that too. Be able to reserve that too.
Yeah.
Havoc 2,
Send it to you, dude.
My stall gonna have to go. Any way I can get another one?
6, this is Aries on 3-1.
Not unless you get magic.
6 at traffic.
6, Aries, notify when ready for time change, over.
6 ready, also ready for briefing.
Hold up here.
Negative, we're about to breeze here.
6, Aries, solid copy. Rendezvous south side of Phoenix Heavy, over.
Oh. Alright.
Yeah,
Just got
Oh.
Heavy 2, this is 2-4. Do you want us to stack up in like our formation or anything, or just hang around?
Alright. You look out to the southwest, 4.5 clicks.
Hold on.
Mark 4 COP Delta. Say again.
Alright, southwest, 4 clicks.
Good now?
Yep.
Alright, southwest, you got COP Delta. About 4.5 clicks southwest of here, a little over.
Want to show you some love, bro.
Alright.
Got eyes on?
Yep.
Alright, that's where you're heading. There is, as I said, there is room to land a bird in there, but you'll only be able to put one in at a time. So one will have to come in, drop off, and then next one come in and drop off.
I'll probably do one. I don't want one of them hovering, so I'll do one in and one somewhere else. Do you have a recommended direction of ingress?
Yeah, move right.
Direction we should come in from?
Yeah, basically
straight
that
north to south?
that ASR, that northeasterly ASR leading into the COP. So if you come in from the southwest, go southwest to northeast, there's a pretty large hill on that southeastern and eastern side of the COP. So you're going to want to stay west of that. So basically west of the ASR or right along it. As far as a secondary LZ, gonna be a rough one.
Yeah, it looks like they should be able to land about right here.
Well, like I said, I know you can land one in the cop, but landing one outside of the cop, that'll be, yeah, you should be able to put one out there. It'll be a bit of a hike, but yeah, they should be able to put one there, no problem.
So coming in from the north, will we be okay to do that? Just straight north to south, so
yeah, you can do that.
Run along the water and then cut it straight south once we're directly north.
Yeah, for ease of time, yeah, I would say go ahead and do that.
Are there any enemy forces already present?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have an estimated size?
Squad.
Say again?
A squad size element.
Okay. I thought you said a lot. You had me worried. All right.
Yes, I mean a small company.
Okay. That wouldn't surprise me. Is there anything else I need to know?
Nope. Have fun.
Alright, HQ elements, gather up on me for briefing. I'm going off comms for about 60 seconds.
Alpha 2-2.
Captain. Captain.
He said he was off comms for a minute first, Sergeant.
God, you all some ugly motherfuckers. At least Soto has decency to cover his face. Granted, he probably can't even hear me through that helmet, so I can talk all the shit I want. Captain, I assume you're back.
So many fucking people here, yes.
Alright, I'm going to be trying to play with the weather a little bit here in a second, so if we start to get that same glitch again, just let me know on 3-1.
Alright.
Thank you.
A little personal. Let me check.
Alright. Our mission tonight is we are moving from here to Cop Delta. Cop Delta is located at 023041. Our flight path, the flight path I want to take.
Did you forget your pair?
is roughly that. Cop Delta is a previously abandoned cop, but we are moving there to defend it because there's a large enemy force that's going to be moving through the area soon, and we need to stop that enemy force. There might be some stragglers left behind in the cop, so we need to be prepared for a quote-unquote lightly hot LZ. The disposition of forces once we hit the ground is up to Platoon HQ, Havoc 4, as soon as we get in, find a good spot to set up your guns.
Copy that, Captain. Copy that.
Are there any questions?
Not from Havoc 2, Captain.
Go to that flight that you want to see.
At least it's not raining this month.
Say again?
Captain, can you show me that flight one more time?
Can you not see it on the map? You can't see the route that I have pinned out?
Negative, Captain.
I've also had something go wrong after that last changeover. I'm not sure if anyone else has seen. Assuming not.
He's updating the map.
Affirm.
See it now?
Yes, sir. Do you mind if we...
Can you see the two LZs I got?
Yes, sir. Well, I see the... Oh, yeah, got him.
One on the cop and one about 150 meters north, or let's say 200 meters. 200 meters north by northeast. What were you about to say?
I was going to ask if you mind if we avoid the hill marked 8-5. Either err on the south side, go a little bit east of it, or just go around it.
You go north of it. I don't care. Just as long as you get us in from north to south into the cop.
All copy.
Any other questions?
Are you indicating that you want one helicopter
On
to
each
land
LZ?
on each LZ?
Correct.
Roger.
I've been informed that the cop itself has an LZ big enough to accommodate one helicopter. And that's it. So we can't land both in there. And I don't want to leave one hovering while the other one is landing.
Alternatively, we could easily fit two in the LZ marked 0003.
I want to get as many guys as possible in the cop on the drop as soon as possible.
Affirm.
Captain, which of the two birds is going to drop into the cop?
I don't care. That's up to platoon lead, whichever. Put the guys that you want in the cop in one of the birds and tell that pilot he's the one who's landing in the cop.
Copy that. We'll have the western one land in the cop then.
Anything else? All right, go brief your guys. Be quick. Like 3 minutes.
Captain, when would you like me to launch the A-10?
Go in the...
Alright, who wants to take the left, north direction?
As soon as the
Bowman,
birds pull up.
you take the one closest to us.
Roger that, sir.
Bowman, you take the closest one, because you're a better flight lead than I am.
Who's the UAV operator tonight?
And if you...
That would be me, sir.
I do not want you marking anything with the UAV laser.
Well, whoever's flight lead's going to have to
call out the targets. If you're carrying, do you have a
they
laser
plan on putting
designated?
their key ones
Yes,
in
I do.
the...
All right, laser designate them if you
All
can by yourself, or if I laser designate them.
Alright, bust out
But no laser designating with the
I
UAV.
assume so, unless they have too many people again. Like
Roger that.
you guys
Yeah,
pick
do you want me to
out
lift the UAV now?
No, send it up as soon as we start.
Copy that.
50 cal.
Big ass
And your M134.
flight path.
If you give me a bearing
Yeah,
distance
further
of the
laser,
laser that
it's
you
gonna
call,
have double
I can
rocket
pretty much
pods,
guarantee I have 100%
760
shot on it,
Then we are going
as
to
long as you
Okay,
give me a
I'll
bearing.
take that one.
the
They're only loaded.
western bird is going to land
Like
in
from
the
you to
cop.
the target.
I'm going to have Havoc
So that I can
launch
give,
the western bird.
hold on. Stand by. So I can give Warlord a bearing and it'll guarantee a shot.
You guys keep saying that. I don't understand. Like,
we get in,
I've had.
a limited cone in
I want
front of
you to
them.
get defensive
The
position
bird has to
immediately,
point in the direction of the missile being shot,
we'll,
basically.
fine-tune our defensive spots, but just get a 360 as quickly as you can.
Like, they should be far
Any
enough
questions on
away that they should be able to just face towards the AO and launch that thing.
That's crazy.
think the cone is very limited.
Obviously, Sergeant Smith.
Have you guys tested that?
No, but based on like the last operation where you were lasing stuff and not getting hits, from what I heard, they did launch Hellfires. There was no impact.
When you're dealing with issues like that, you need to test it and confirm. That's one of the things you should be doing when you guys are doing trainings with them.
As for side, we did test it with me and Captain Soto, and that was
Say that again?
Low and slow, but also...
When we were testing out the Apache when it was first released, that was the case when me and Captain Soto were testing it for S4.
Well, last time I talked to
Lance,
one of the pilots, they said you just have to
lead,
point in the
so
general
we don't
direction of
have
the
to-
AO and launch that thing. So
Well,
you're telling me one
I think
thing and
what
I'm being told
what would be
something
best,
different
honestly, is to let Lance
by
do
someone
it
who's
with
actually
a head
flown
start.
one of the things and shot the Hellfires.
Agree.
Yeah,
And almost...
2, 3, 2, 4.
Like,
All I'm saying
as
is it'll guarantee a hit.
almost every time that I've actually had a Hellfire shot at a target I'm laser designating, it's hit. It's just the times when I'm calling for the Hellfires and they never get shot that they don't hit.
Like, if you
So
set your bullseye...
we'll test it out tonight. I don't. Also, you're telling me to call out a bearing from me, but what about a bearing from them? What if they're on a? What if they're facing the AO from a different direction?
I use Blue Force tablet. I figured it out myself.
I can't wait that long. I can't wait that long on when I'm calling in those laser designated Hellfires. So we'll try it tonight, doing it my way. And if they're not locking on for whatever reason, then we'll go over.
Okay. I'll probably, if you're gonna go to the top, I'll probably take 3-4, kind of go south, and keep the cop on my.
So when I call for that Hellfire, I need them to just point towards the AO and shoot the Hellfire. I don't need to. I don't need to be waiting.
Hopefully, time to go into the to the actual cop and land.
Just have them do that, and if that's not working,
sound good?
Then I'll stop calling for Hellfires and I'll tell you what I want laser designated.
Alright. I probably won't be playing.
This is 6 in traffic.
I'll just try to,
6 Havoc 2 is ready to go on your word. Over.
Roger.
Alright.
Do they have permission to board?
You should be monitoring squad net.
Yes, sir. Permission to board.
You guys have permission to board. Start loading up. Alright,
When
the
you guys
UAV up.
Copy that, 6.
When we call for a Hellfire, just line up to the direction of the AO and send out the shot. We're gonna see if this whole cone thing is actually a factor or not. All right.
No, I just need a roughly a 40-degree bearing. That's all.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna be doing that.
I guess we'll just point towards the area you guys are in.
Yeah. Just point in the general direction.
Does he want it north, or what does he want the warlord hanging out?
It doesn't matter. Like 40 degrees is a big cone. As far away as you guys should be, so you should be far enough away that 40 degrees encompasses the entire AO. You just need to point towards the AO and shoot the damn Hellfire.
All we need is to have just a little bit of time to get off a racetrack and point towards the AO and let it rip, and you'll be good.
Yeah, that's fine. Just stop, point towards the AO, shoot the Hellfire, and then keep moving.
Dog copy.
Alright, let's get mounted up.
Watts in the same bird?
No, you guys go in a different bird. 2-6, this is 6. Which bird are you in?
6 is 2-6. I'm in the eastern bird. Over.
2-6 cop or 6 copies out.
When we land,
6, let me know when you're all mounted up and ready to go.
This bird's full over here.
6 Havoc 2 is ready.
Alright, then give me some.
6 is Havoc 4.
And Bravo,
We had one guy transferred to the other bird, no be all loaded.
Need to push towards the wall or anything else like that, because we're gonna get shot at while we're trying to use some.
Hey, so the entire boot is echoing it.
I'm gonna try to get you
Walking.
permission to go ahead and take off towards the
And make sure you got fresh
6
magazine.
is Havoc 4, we're all loaded.
Alright, Dagger, let's go.
Go ahead, Sardine, I'm right in front of you.
Phoenix flight clear.
You're taking west side, or am I taking? I forgot.
I'm taking the east side, you take the west side.
Affirm, just want to double check. Thank you.
Yep.
Send it.
We have about 20 seconds for...
Sounds like we're taking the eastern side.
That's a problem when we get out of the third, our side.
We're gonna take
Anybody else hear that beeping sound?
Negative.
Must have been me. Disregard.
Shit. Oh, what the hell?
What's going on?
Out, go! Get out!
No.
Let's go, whoever landed in the cop, get this cop clear. On the roof of the HQ building, Mike. Did anyone clear the first floor of this building?
Guys inside the compound still got some contacts out there to the southeast. So we'll take a look. He was close. He was crawling on top of that hill. He's got knocked in.
Havoc 2, have your guys that are outside of the compound turn their lasers on. At least the squad leaders.
Copy your last 6.
What are you looking at over here?
Outside the compound, turn your lasers on.
Left clear.
Let's get in.
Bravo goes to small tower.
We're in the right spot, Jan.
Get in.
Double check.
Alright, there's shots coming from the south.
Go for Alpha.
Charlie copies.
Yeah, that's the issue. Nobody.
Alright, we're going into this main. This big
See a thermal southeast coming down the slope. Southeast coming down the slope.
Hold up your sectors. They hold it.
Jesus Christ. Whoa. Let's go. We got some sort of fucking heavy cannon to our northeast. Tank. I got it, Lays.
Alright,
Bearing 026 with me.
Roger, Gate Thunder on Warlord's not there yet.
Can Thunder see my Lays?
You will get shot out of there right there. I'm gonna pick you up.
Or can I turn it off? God damn it. Mike, I need medical attention.
It's pretty tall.
Give me
I say again, does Thunder need my lays?
935 meters.
Negative.
Have a high spot, MBD bearing 024 range.
I got bearing on it. 026.
I'm back up.
Put your head down. Don't have anything that can engage that tank.
I was coming off of it.
Let the fucking jump.
Shoot it. It's ETA on Thunder. 028.
He's acquiring a target. He's coming in now.
My men's just taking care of it.
Mike, where are you at?
On HQ. I'm on top of the headquarters tower.
Turn those fucking lasers off. Thunder has its own optics. It doesn't need lasing from a fucking rifle.
You don't need to be in this tower. Get off this fucking tower now.
Do not shoot a javelin at that thing. It's about to get hit by a Maverick.
Another vehicle behind that.
Maverick is
It's Skyning. It's about to drop by Thunder.
Havoc 6, this is 2-7. Do you say you're gonna hit with a Maverick?
Yeah.
On you, Cap.
Weapons goes wave off. We got a Maverick coming in.
Hold on.
Thunder, what's the
There's a second piece of armor next to that tank.
Solid copy 6.
That's a B.
What is taking Thunder so long?
Raise it with the UAV. I have it.
Roger. The advice is lays. He's coming. He's using now.
Y'all do immediate re-attack and hit that fucking BTR as well. I need to know when a fucking attack is going to take that long. I had a javelin standing there looking at that thing for like 3 minutes.
He had trouble finding the main battle tank because it was cold and thermals.
Alright, good shit.
Can he not see my lays?
Stand by, let me clarify it.
Actual Charlie.
Make sure you guys are sticking on their sectors.
Copy that 6.
Go red. Make sure you guys are blue on blue force. Dagger.
Say again?
Make sure you're blue on blue force.
Roger. Be advised the angle is bad. He was coming in at. He didn't see a laser from you.
Need that information relayed faster.
Roger.
Alpha, south, 1 into 3. I got eyes on a enemy head.
Get that mortar off this roof and put it in the mortar pit. We need as few people up here as possible.
Right there.
I got 6 is 2-6. We've got an enemy helo to the north, unidentified at this time.
Don't shine your fucking laser at. Don't shine your laser at fucking enemy vehicles that might have fucking optics that can see our lasers. They point both ways.
Thunder.
What's the version of that armor called up?
It was not armor, it was enemy air torch. This is 6, send it.
6 Havoc 4, are we clear to self-designate?
Affirmative.
Havoc 4 copies out.
I'll re-engage you right on next year.
I think it was a marksman, wasn't
6 over.
6 is 2-6, send it.
Do you have anyone in that bunker to the south of the AO? On the right side of the road?
Not to my knowledge.
That thing is heavy and it's elevated. I recommend you send at least a team in there.
Copy that, 6.
6 out.
Oh yeah, there you go. Southeast 127. Yeah, dude, just fucking loading straight to standby.
I got new thermals.
Do not flex, dude.
Station yet?
Roger, just got on right now. I can't get a lazy, so definitely me.
Most of the action seems to be coming from the south.
Bro.
2-1 ETR has gone back behind us.
Send the Charlie.
Oh yeah, probably. I was trying to find a response for them in trenches. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, please bring over.
There's another piece of armor up there. Straight south. It's another BTR. It's the same BTR. Straight south. On the other side of the rocks.
Oh yeah.
Good shit. Pieces of the AT.
Was that 2 pieces of AT at once?
Yeah, it was.
Oh. It sounded fucking cool, at least.
Copy. 2-2, get one of your fire teams in that.
Mike, I'm gonna need you in the
armored
command
bunker
tower.
to the southwest.
We're gonna make this a full circle. I'm gonna put one up right here to the north.
Get them prepped to bring us a resupply already.
This is Charlie, we're back up.
Roger.
Understood.
Kings.
Robert, you want me to?
Yeah, that's a pretty good spot.
I'm gonna
Get
check
up
these
there with
quality,
an
see if
AR.
I have anything interesting on them.
There's a guy standing right up there.
Regroup and go to the large tower.
He's dead.
Mark 0
Got
0
him.
0 over.
Do not fucking fire across all these friendlies. If you need to shoot, push to the other side.
Correct, inside Cop Delta over.
Eddie, got anything on
Roger,
the
go
thermals?
ahead and hold north
I can't see
at a
jack
good distance that you're choosing. Over.
By. The fog, I think, is fucking with the IR on this thing.
Phoenix is lifting now. They're going to hold to the north for your call.
White.
Yeah, my thermals are fucked up too.
They're gonna have to land and drop the box off. So.
Alright, there you go. I didn't think of that.
Or are they roping it in?
Yes. I kind of have to eyeball shot.
Alright.
Looks like we got a squad worth of guys coming down from the southeast of 130.
Yes, landed it.
Slinging it.
Negative landing.
We got another squad worth of guys coming down the road from the south, where that BTR was. They're coming up over the ridge line south.
We have a Tunguska due southwest. Can't get rolled at Tunguska.
Don't bring them in on it. Then you have it phased for them.
All the way where that tank was you shot at.
0031 on red 4.
It's indefinitely for us. Warlord sees it. Rifle.
Yeah, same. I got no e-signature.
There's reports of a second one, unknown location. They're looking for it now.
That was not 270 from us.
I said south.
6 is 2-6. We've got a Tunguska to the north, near the location of that original MBT over.
Yeah, I got eyes on it. Need it lays.
Roger, you're lasing. I'll send Hellfire.
Stand by, I lost eyes on it.
Roger, let me know.
Stand by for
It's lays.
It's lays. Send one.
Stand by. It could be friendly.
Kinda looks like
Yeah, it's definitely looking for them. It's not looking over this way. It's looking in the air where our air assets are.
Eyes on.
Phoenix.
Was that a miss? I think that Hellfire missed.
I can tell. I'll send another one. Rifle.
Shit.
Do you have a lock?
That missed. They're landing between it and us. They're landing between it and us. They're gotta be the angle. Now it's shooting. Oh, let me get the fuck out
Alright,
of
it's
here.
on the wave off.
What was that? Get fucking thunder on those armor pieces. There's that Tunguska as well as whatever's shooting an autocannon at us. Yeah, there's a BMP and a Tunguska right next to each other with the last pieces of armor where if you can get thunder in, or have him take the fucking Tunguska out of the back.
Roger.
Do you know if Thunder can see their legs yet?
He sees their lays just landing short for some reason. I don't know why.
Thunder see my legs.
Heavy 2-4 black eye.
Lays.
Cannot. Say again? Pretty sure the Apache, I'm lacing the backside of that tank where the Apache is. The Apache needs to swing around towards south in order to engage that.
Alright, double time up to me.
Well, you need some fresh shots to engagement. Up here.
We got a muzzle pair.
025 Charlie.
Yep.
Back. Check. Oh, no, you're not clear. Clear.
You're not clear, you're not clear.
Clear.
Not clear, copy. 1,000 meters.
Clear. Clear.
Alright,
Pretty much right on that 0035 marker.
004.
That's where those two pieces of armor are.
Copy that.
I have Warlord maneuvering for it.
Can you not get thunder in on them?
This is Bravo to actual, guys.
Negative, I think Tunguska's waving him off.
Northeast, bearing 20, in the tree line.
Ready to laze it again as soon as they're ready to fucking shoot it. It's looking up in Warlord's direction.
Say that again. Good hit.
It's cooking. There's still a fucking...
626, Tunguska neutralized, over.
Roger, there's still a BMP up there. Active BMP near where that Tunguska was.
Copy that, we're looking for it.
A weapons jam.
I'm hearing some sort of armor. Danger close to our north. It might be that BMP. It might have pushed all the way up on us.
Is on.
Move it down the hill. You guys see that?
Negative.
Yeah, I see it. I need to race that. What's that race next to it?
Stand by, Charlie, stand by.
Hurry it the fuck up.
6s and 26, we got a BMP close. Copy. We're dipping it out, over.
Did you not hear me just say that on the radio?
There are 2 BMPs, one out near that Tunguska as well as the one close, I believe.
I think the one that's close is the one that was out near Tunguska. It's just pushed up on us.
Copy that, it's gonna die.
It's now to our north. No, you can fucking hear it.
You said it was 2?
Get down. He's got to be like 100 meters now. 100 meters.
170 meters. 190 meters. 200 meters.
We're getting up in here.
225.
We're pulling up. I need everybody to clear out.
230. Nice shot. Nice fucking shot.
Alright.
Still moving. 250.
Hey, this thing's good hit.
260.
250, 260, copy.
275. It's out. It's in defilade. It's in defilade.
Yeah, A-firm is behind defilade. No clear eyes on it now.
Can I get thunder? Can I get thunder on it?
Yeah, no.
Never mind, I have eyes on it. It's just to
Roger.
the left of that defilade.
It's 320 now.
320, copy.
Havoc
Alright,
6,
clear back
this is
left.
27.
It's trying to push up that hill. It's going to be stuck trying to push up that hill.
Alright, clear back last. Rocket, rocket, rocket.
Havoc 6.
This is Havoc 6. It's cooking off. This is Havoc 6 in traffic.
Do we have permission to pick up enemy AT at this point?
Get that supply in here.
I'm gonna try to get peeks in here in this little break.
Hey,
Havoc 6, this is 27. Do we have permission to pick up enemy AT at this point? Over.
Shouldn't need it yet.
How many rockets? 1, right?
Want me to get Phoenix team now?
Yeah.
Roger.
Oh shit, did you guys see that? That was autocannon fire.
EMP cooking off.
All stations 3-1, be advised, Syncs is coming in for a resupply. Need you to cover it, over.
Havoc 2, copy.
How the fuck did he sneak up on us like that? Jesus Christ.
Alright, grabbing the rocket out of your bag.
I don't see anybody else.
No, it's fine. I got one. It's fine. I got one in the tube and one in the backpack.
It's easy to keep it.
Having 2, this is 2-4. Be advised, 2 times the smallest rocket.
Do you know how many rockets, or how many jobs?
Somebody fucking tell Bravo, make sure they watch their direct west as well as us.
Be advised that Blackhawk is coming in. I need you guys to put out suppressive fire from now until the time it leaves. Keep the suppressive fire light, but push it out. Start now. Start shooting. Light suppressive fire. Lighter.
Copy that, 6.
Send my assistant to resupply javelin fire. Just about that, should be good.
Stand by.
Alright, let's move to the resupply box. One
Thunder
bloody
Tiger
beat
Sensor.
at a time.
Alright, Delta, front.
Interrogative, is that anti-hero?
I got multiple foot mobiles coming up from east about 060.
Foot mobiles.
Solid copy, 6.
Just looks like a team worth of guys. I'm sending tracers out. That's closer.
Let's be advised, we have about west marked 0043. Oh.
Send it.
Be advised, we got headlights to southeast, I don't know where it is.
Yeah, go ahead. Feel free to use them things if necessary.
Solid copy from IR.
Thunder doesn't know what it is yet.
To the southeast.
What is?
They see headlights to the southeast.
Stand by.
Button going.
I want rocket teams first.
Delta's back.
Single BTR to the southeast.
Delta's back. Charlie,
Call it BTR to the southeast.
About 550 meters.
Actual distance, Bravo.
I gotta hunt out to the east.
I got us.
Not really worried.
I can hit that guy? Send your assistant. Looks like a troop transport. Now, go ahead, yeah.
We're after bigger fish here.
Bravo, send your assistant.
To the crossroad, crossroad, crossroad.
Get eyes south. There's a BTR coming up fast.
Oh, shit.
This is Unit from the lays on that BTR.
Fucking shot.
Somebody's bound to shoot it. Be advised, I took an AT shot.
This is Unit from ArmA lays on a BTR located to the west. Approximately 500 meters out. Let's say I'm gonna have a lace on with BTR ADL from 500 meters west. To the east, to west? West, from west.
Be advised, I'm getting reports of a BTR out. It's firing. BTR autocannon out to the fucking west.
Copy that, 6.
West,
I'm pretty sure it's putting all its rounds into a rock, but it's repositioning. It's going to start shooting at us.
Are you up?
Sort of.
Got a hit.
Northwest side of the fucking top. It's medic up. I need the medic up. The medic first. We got a squad medic down over here on the northwest side. I need another medic. At least my medic is working on him.
Call 36, send it over.
I need CLS also.
I got guys on the way, sir.
one.
Alright.
I got it. Give me a pick.
Havoc 4, have you been sending rounds out?
Havoc 4, we're sending rounds out to the west at this time, past Hill 5-4.
Copy that.
Alpha, Delta.
Solid copy.
Slightest inclination that you're up on that tower, I want you to do it immediately.
Pretty goddamn far.
Got a single guy coming across the field right here, guys. West.
He in front of 2-1.
He's shooting.
We should carry morphine if you will.
2-1, make sure you keep you guys spread out. You're a little bit bunched up here in this, whatever fucking pit you're singing.
6 Havoc 4, requesting fire mission on marker 0051, squad infantry being engaged.
I told you to self-designate.
Gates go red so I can see you on my micro dagger.
Hey guys, everybody check yourselves. I hear somebody moaning. You might be hurt.
And it'd be like one version I can.
But it moved in. I not have it.
6 is Havoc 4.
6 send it.
6 is Havoc 4, fire mission on marker 0051 to the south.
I say again, you are authorized to self-designate your own targets.
070.
4 copies all.
Saw tracer fire. Or muzzle flashes.
get by?
No, text now. I lost him.
Changing.
This is Uniform. I have an enemy technical approaching the crossroads, about 10 seconds. Crossroads to the south of us. They affirm.
Behind that hill over there.
There's a couple of guys out there at about 085. Pretty far.
Technical, moving 023 left.
Thank you.
There we go. Be advised, I got 2 squads worth of guys coming in from straight east. Almost straight east. 2 squads.
the ramp. I'm moving up.
Roger. Second technical at the same crossroad.
6 is off comms to Mike.
Alright, I'm working on you.
Be advised, we got technical to our east down to the crossroad and 11 troops, over.
Copy that. Hold defensive position.
I'm not sure yet.
I'm right here.
Are you good, Kathy?
Yeah.
Well, that and I keep seeing all these little bushes and I think it's a douche.
Charlie. When I see bushes.
Yeah, southeast, anywhere up like over there. Right where you just pointed, I don't see anything. Scan for a minute.
Actual truth, Charlie, eyes on headlights bearing 021 out by where that last vehicle was destroyed.
Looking.
Range is about 1.60.
Send it. 021.
How's Bravo doing on ammo? I saw the headlights hit the side of a building. I don't have eyes on the vehicle just yet.
Yeah, good copy. It's in a 023, 021.
Eyes on headlight 021. BTR.
Yep.
Oh, yep. Eyes on that's way out.
Yeah, eyes on it.
BTR very far out,
northeast. BTR northeast 026.
Solid copy, sir.
We've got a BTR near original MBT and Tunguska positions, over.
Did Warlord change their positions? Because I can laze that thing.
Yeah. Copy that.
They're a little bit more northwest now.
No.
Get low.
If you laze, I'll try some hellfire.
It's lazed.
Stay down.
Having 2, this is 240. You want to fire on it?
I don't hear you.
We cannot stand up.
Warlord dagger.
Charlie, stand down to that target to the northeast. They got
He's telling me to wait one.
flares on it.
Tell me when to relight it up. It's shooting really fucking close to me.
Let us know when you're ready for the laze.
Downstairs, time now.
Alright, is that a BTR right in front of us? South 26?
I'm ready.
He's ready for the laze.
That's
lazed.
Oh.
Rifle.
Yeah.
That's all I like is fucking extra loot.
Goddamn.
Well, that hit.
Yeah, just direct. Roger.
Did you say get wrecked? Copy.
I said look direct.
Yeah. Row. Scan southeast for me with your thermals. Something was...
That was fast, too. Did he shoot before I turned my laser back?
He acquired your laser as he turned it back on. He sent it.
Oh, I hear it.
Over the wall.
Yeah, I got
It's a better angle than he had before.
Southeast 154.
Who's that 50?
Jesus Christ. Friendly to come out at. It's like, oh, what the fuck happened here?
Gun truck down.
BTR approaching from northwest, it sounds like.
I'm hearing cook-off in the vehicle.
Get your guys take that Land Rover with that 50 on it and utilize it.
Copy that, 6.
So say it one more time.
Who just called out a BTR? What direction?
Vehicle bearing 052 headlights over.
052 headlights.
05.
Right over here.
It's a BTR. Is it a BTR?
Yep, I got another BTR being called out at 055 in a valley.
This is 2-4. Disregard, that was what
Yeah, bearing 056.
Correction,
That's
northeast.
affirm, it's 052.
I can laze it if we can get a Hellfire.
Well, it's not for Hellfire, or laser over.
It's laze, but it's shooting. Send it fast.
Rifle.
Someone else has it laze. Get that other laze off.
550.
It went over. Like fucking 1 foot over. Get that other fucking laze off. Whoever else has that fucking target laze, tell them to turn their laser off.
It was thunder lasing it. Rifle.
Yeah, they're on it.
That one was way off. Tell Thunder to laze it if he's got a better angle on it. It's in a fucking valley.
We can
Thunder, go ahead and
Having
actually
Fucking hit it with a Maws if you can.
We have
Get it.
Copy that, Moss rockets outbound.
Rocket.
good hit. Direct hit.
BTR took a direct hit, it's done.
Thank you.
Thunder saw that your laser was short, and that's why he was lasing it, and it screwed it all up. Were you lasing it through the tree?
Interrogative, was that resupply box? Just a resupply box.
Got him. Every once in a while, also look out to southwest too.
Warlord says Hellfire left RTP and resupply.
Yeah, we still got Thunder on station.
Roger, sending Warlord back.
Give me an ace report. How's everybody doing? Ace report.
Warlord, go ahead and RT.
How you doing, Mark?
All you
How long is that gonna take?
Stand by.
Understood.
Charlie's all green.
And then you're good on 556, right? Need 556 rounds. I'm sure they have some in the thing, so.
Alpha's good.
Yeah, well.
3 mics.
I'd be surprised if they still had.
Roger, badge.
Copy that.
What's rocket count for my rocket teams?
Go ahead and give me an agent report.
You have how many rockets?
Javelin sitting at 2.
And I got 2 repack magazines, tell.
Copy that.
How many rounds?
Thunder is there and send 0 over.
Yup.
Alright.
Actual is Charlie, we have two in my, or one in my rocket, one in my backpack, 2 on my assistant, and there's also still 2 in the box.
Alright, so a lot.
Roger that.
Having 2, we're green, 2 jav, and a lot of Oz.
Group of magazines and all.
I'm gonna start sending that shit.
Where?
Negative Bravo. I just want to hear you call up one day. Actual. This is Havoc 2-4 requesting more targets to shoot over.
has about.
I'm gonna try to get some more looks through this.
I got one
optic.
partial and 6 full magazines. And green on medical.
The only thing that frickin' sucks is this wall right here.
2-6, this is 2-4.
Nah, this fog is still shit.
Yeah,
Requesting more scum them gun down.
But it's.
Hey, tell, do you have another box on you?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to sit here because I knew what the range was.
That was beautiful, bro.
So we're that time to go grab it?
Hell yeah.
Okay, right there.
Probably put like 6 Veppy in there and launch that up, and that would probably make your heart explode.
This is 6. Where the fuck is our resupply box?
It's towards south of the orbit.
It is to the south. On the other side of our wall.
Yeah. Resupply box is technically outside of the house, but
T1, don't swap that box, or you said put the team over at a time.
Signal aircraft RTV.
There
Roger.
is no fucking 40s in here.
Take it off your hands. Muller's green.
Anybody over here with a spare 40s?
I got.
Who needs 40s?
Crossing.
Oh, nice. Who needs 40s?
All air assets are RTB.
Looking at this map.
Who needs 40s?
Actually, if you don't mind, I'll have a chat with you after this. Let me debrief.
All stations is net. Index. Meet at the ruined HQ building.
I'll
station 7 we're in
In the middle at the destroyed forward dam building.
Copy that 6. Have two Bravo.
Condition under the rifle and meet in the middle.
do not disconnect.
Roger.
Don't disconnect.
Go down. Copy.
Bravo, I'll make.
2-4, understood, we're moving.
Alpha, make sure to head over and down.
Condition for your weapons, boys.
Condition for your weapons.
Wait, keep your weapon up.
Condition 4.
You condition 4?
Stay firm.
Whoa!
Get it!
There you go. Just take a kneel, bud.
2-1, you guys are all here.
Just take a kneel.
Patty decided to do something.
If it has a frame built on
It's not on.
is the gun truck.
Yep, there you go, thank you.
Why are you leading over?
It's not on.
I'm leading?
Let me know when your team's here and
to the right there.
make sure you're not dying.
Choo-choo's all here. Is it better now?
Charlie.
Yeah, you're looking good.
Alpha's all, Bravo's all here.
Where's that Land Rover with the 50?
Alright, make sure I'm whispering in your
Where'd you guys put the Land Rover at?
magazines out, your stuff.
I believe it's that building south of the road.
This is 6. Say again, over.
6, this is Havoc 4, we're all here. Six, this Aries on 3-1.
This is 6 in traffic.
6, Aries, be advised, Land Rover has been removed, over.
Oh, okay, we need lights for the debrief.
Roger.
No, we wanted it for lights. Alright guys, let's lock it up.
Shut up,
Patty, I'm giving it to you for that.
Whoa.
Bitch.
If you don't want to be blind, you already got them off.
Alright, there's not really a lot. Not really a lot to go over tonight. For once, I have 0 complaints, 0 things that I noticed that went wrong tonight. The only thing maybe that I could touch on is when you guys tandem fired the BTR. Where was it? It was up there on the other side of one of those rocks. You guys shot 2 AT4s at it at the same time. It sounded really fucking cool. But try to communicate. You know, you should be calling out, I'm shooting it with my rocket. So, you know, if you hear that and you're the other AT4 gunner, hold your shot until you see whether that first shot was effective or not. Other than that, everything tonight was fucking spot on. Now we're just waiting on our pilots. Well, here, I'll say this. I'll say they did a good job tonight, but I don't have to repeat that once they get here. I don't have to say it again once they get here, because I'll never admit to it. Hi.
Captain Drumheller, I can hear you.
I don't believe you. All right. So overall, you guys did a good job tonight. Havoc 2, you got anything?
I was going to mention the tandem firing thing, but you got that. The only thing I'd ask you guys, when you call up contacts, instead of using bearings, keep in mind every other squad's a different position from you. So they're going to have a different bearing to that target. Try to use more cardinal directions, south by southwest or due east or whatever. It'll be a lot easier for other squad leaders to hear and for me to find as well. That's all I had.
What happened with that enemy helicopter that was called out to the north early in the mission? Was that actually an enemy helicopter?
I believe that was a Blackhawk, sir.
Okay. You guys need to work on identifying your aircraft. Havoc 4?
Nothing from Havoc 4, sir.
Dagger?
Nothing from Dagger, Captain.
Thunder?
Nothing here, Captain.
Can you hear us inside that thing? Hello, Captain Soto? What does it
yes,
look like?
Captain
What does
Drumheller,
it look like from in there? Do you feel like
It
a
looks
astronaut?
a little bit darker.
Okay.
Visors tinted.
Rotary?
Nothing from rotary. Sorry.
Did I miss any section leads? Aries?
You guys have a good
All right,
time tonight?
okay.
Tried to put as much pressure as I could on you guys, but AI was being especially fucking retarded tonight, so good job, even though you actually fought only about half of what I actually sent at you. That's all I had, Cap.
All right, if you got a question or comment, put a CRQ in chat as it pertains to the task force as a whole. If anyone does, let me know, First Sergeant. Wherever you may be.
Mr. Bowman?
First Sergeant, I believe that there was a third aircraft messing around in the beginning of the op, or a radar blip of such thing, so I don't know what that was, but...
There was another aircraft, it was one of yours, because I didn't put a single air asset up, so you guys might want to get that figured out amongst yourselves.
Paper.
Anyone else? All right, you guys are dismissed. Oh, sorry. Say again.
So that was it, sir.
All right, you guys did a good job on calling out your targets and calling out their bearing. And normally, I was hearing a range shortly thereafter. That I really like. I really like 3Ds: direction, distance, and description. Distance being the one that normally gets skipped. So I was happy to hear that a lot tonight. And that's it. You guys are dismissed.
Stand by.
Oh, stand by.
Private Telez.
Put yourself on yelling.
What are you
Tandem
yelling?
fire with the... I am on yelling.
Okay, say again.
I was going to explain myself about the tandem fire with the AT4s. I was at the threshold of not holding back that shot. It was too close to the first shot. I would have held back, but it didn't register to my finger first.
It was not a problem per se. Like, you guys both engaged the target. It's just, that means we lost an AT4 that we didn't mean to lose. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Roger, sir.
Is that it, First Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for the third time, you guys are dismissed. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Havoc 2, jump down to my channel.
Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm going to go take my dogs out, and then I'm going to play more XCOM for like 8 more hours, because I fucking love that game, even though I hate that game. Whoever did that $10 super chat earlier in the stream, I missed who it was, but I saw it, so I appreciate that. And I will see you guys in a few minutes if you enjoy XCOM. Otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday for the next zombie mission. Otherwise, I'll see you next Sunday for Task Force Alpha. Or maybe I'll never see you again. I don't know. To be fair, I've never seen any of you in the first place. You've only seen me and my awesome dog.